Hi, in the previous two videos, we looked at what integrated curriculum financial planning is, and then what the key metrics involved are and how to calculate them. In this video, we're going to use Waffle Planner to build a really simple model to get that data that we need to calculate those metrics. Enjoy. Hi, we're going to build a really simple model now so we can calculate our key metrics. I've created an example trust with two fake schools. I'm just going to click on the first of those schools and create a new model for it. There we go. I have two tables, a curriculum table and a staffing table. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create a row for each year and put in the number of students in each year. Okay, I've done that. So now I'm just going to put in my curriculum. This is quite a small school. So it's got 4 periods of maths a week and 3 classes, which means that for year 7 they need 12 periods of maths. I'm going to go in and quickly fill in the rest of this curriculum. In fact, I've got it in another spreadsheet and I can quickly copy and paste it across. Okay, I've done that now. And already we can see some of our key metrics. So in year 7, we can see we've got an average class size of 26. We've also got a bonus of 3.85%. What this means is we've got 3.85% more lessons than we need if all our classes had exactly 27 in them, which makes sense because our average class size is slightly below that. This side of the table tells us we need 676 lessons in total, 90 of which are maths, 104 are English, and so forth, and that year 7 needs 90 lessons, year 8 needs 90 lessons, year 9 is a little bit higher with 126 lessons because we've got a few more pupils in it. Okay, now we can put the staffing in. Again, I should stress that this is really simple and we could add more columns and we're just doing the bare minimum to get the data we need. Again, I've got this in another table, in another spreadsheet. So I'm going to quickly copy and paste that data in now. And then it goes. So we've got all our staff in, what their FTE is, and what department they belong to. That's really just for organisational purposes at this stage. Next, I'm going to copy and paste in what they are available to teach. To do that, I'm going to quickly just turn off these group bys just to make it one big grid, just to make it slightly easier. Again, I can copy and paste that in. There we go. Let me quickly turn them back on just so we can see it again, just a little bit easier. And that's all the data we need to get our key metrics out. So let's have a quick look at the constants. We've only got one constant, and that is the number of lessons in a timetable cycle. So this school has a 1-week timetable cycle, and it's got 6 periods a day, so 6 times 5, 30 lessons. We've got two key metric tables set up at the moment. We could set up more, but let's just have a quick look at this first one. This tells us the total supply, i.e. what the teachers can offer, what the curriculum demands, and the difference between them. So in this case, our teachers can supply 95 periods of maths, our curriculum demands 90, therefore we've got a surplus of 5 periods. Over here in computer science, our teachers can teach 11, but we need 17, so we need another 6 periods. Maybe that could come from the maths department or something like this. PE, you can see what we require far exceeds our supply from the teachers, so perhaps we need to employ another member of staff, and so forth. Either which way, we can adjust our staffing or adjust our curriculum to make these plans. Here's the second page I've got on this. This tells us a few metrics. It tells us that we've got 34.4 full-time equivalent staff. We've got 15.41 as a pupil to teacher ratio. That means that for every one teacher, we've got 15.41 staff. We've got quite a low teacher contact ratio here of 66%. So that means that our teachers are spending 66% of the time in the classroom and the remaining 34 outside the classroom, maybe planning or doing management tasks. Here we've got our average class sizes for years 7 to 11. Here's that same surplus deficit graph, but without the supply and demand on it. And down the bottom here, we've got our figures for our basic lessons bonus and percent bonus. All these metrics are highly customizable, and indeed we can look at them how we want. So for example, I could come in here and I could choose to see the basic bonus and percent bonus metrics grouped by year group. Let's quickly switch that around. In fact, let's just show, for the purposes of now, our percent bonus as grouped by year group again. And we can see that as cards, or as a table, or a graph, and so forth. As I say, this is quite a simple way of doing this, about as simple as you can get. There's no reason why we couldn't have more columns to either of these tables, and in subsequent videos I will show how to do that and perhaps the sorts of things you could include. I'll also show how you can create your own metrics, which could be useful to analyse your staffing and curriculum, adding other tables, but perhaps most importantly, doing some scenario planning using the What If tool, looking at how your metrics change if you change either your staffing or your curriculum. Okay. For this video, I use Waffle Planner, but you can do this on a spreadsheet if you prefer. See my article on my website for the advantages that Waffle Planner brings. And if you're interested, please get in contact.